Yeah, guys, I agree. Shelley is fucking annoying as fuck. Hey guys, how is it all going? So, we have a new review in the Friday the 13th series, and this one is part 3 in 2D because I never watched it in 3D. And it's the film I like to call Jason in a Barn because that's where he spends most of his time in this movie. So, Friday the 13th, part 3, guys, pretty much takes off straight from the end of the second one. So, we have new teens going to a camp, and that's what you do when just a couple of days before, I'm assuming it's a couple of days, there's been multiple murders about. They haven't found the killer. What do you do if you're a group of teens? You go to a camp that's right next to the camp where the murders took place. Of course you do. So, they all go there. Jason has survived, obviously, the offence of the end of the second one. He survived the machete through the shoulder blade, as you do. But somehow Jason has managed to get a foot taller, packed on a shitload of muscle, and managed to find a razor to shave his hair, and also managed to change his face. It's pretty impressive, really, to be fair. So, there's not really much plot to this, guys. It's just a typical Friday the 13th movie. The characters are there, literally, just to be killed off by Jason. That's it, really, right? And I know this part of the series splits fans quite a bit. I think you either quite enjoy part 3 or you think it's one of the weakest in the series. I fall into the part where I actually quite like part 3, but I do understand why there are fans of the series that consider it one of the weakest entries in the series, because I'm a bit of both. I do like this movie, I do. But I still think it is one of the weakest in the series as well. I mean, it's not in my top 3. I don't even. Would I have it in my top 5? I probably might have it 5th if I was to do a top 5. I would probably put it 5th. Um, but the highlights for me in part 3 are Jason himself. This is how I think of Jason, right? So it's not like Sackhead Jason, even though he is great in part 2 and he is creepy. This version of Jason I love. You know, he's slow, he's angry, he's built like a brick shithouse in this movie. He takes no shit whatsoever in this. I love the kills in part 3 as well. I do, like when he crushes the guy's head and his eyeball pops out. I love that one. The guy that's walking on his hands and just comes up to Jason. Jason just like hammers him down with the machete. There's some great kills in this. There really is. And we finally get to see Jason in the hockey mask, which is the moment you first see that in this movie. That's just movie history made, in my opinion. It's a great scene. I love it. Just the way he walks down with the harpoon in his hand and the mask on, and that young girl, like for some reason she thinks he's Shelley at the start, which like baffled me. Even like the stoner guy thinks it's Shelley when he's going into the barn. Unless Shelley has grown to like 6'4", gone up to like 280 pounds. I don't think that's Shelley. Right? But it's an iconic moment in horror movie history, and I just think in movie history in general when Jason gets his hockey mask. So the film gets absolute props for that, in my opinion. Where it kind of falters for me in part 3 a little bit, like I say, the characters are literally just there to be killed by Jason. They're nothing to write home about. You don't really get to know any of them, really. You know, apart from, I would say, the main girl, who I can't remember the actress's name, but I think her character's name's Chris. I think she does a great job in this movie, to be fair. I think she's probably the best actor in it out the group. I think she does a great job. and she has a great throwdown with Jason at the end. I mean, what I like about part 3 as well, apart from all other horror movies as well, is even when Jason goes down, she doesn't stop. She carries on. Like when she finally gets Jason down, sticks a rope around his neck and then pushes him out the barn and lets him hang. And you think, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I would 100% want to make sure he's dead. And you would think he would be dead from that. No. No, he isn't. But you would think. And then she doesn't stop there. She puts an axe through his head. That stops him in this movie, but ultimately gets back up from that as well. But that's what I like about in this movie as well, and that's what I like about the end is even when he goes down, she doesn't stop. She wants to finish him off, which is so refreshing when you see other horror movies where the killer goes down and then you'll like drop the knife or drop the gun next to the body or whatever and just run off. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? It just frustrates me. Like, it just does. I can't help it. But overall, I do like part 3, and I would love to see this in 3D. I would love to go to a cinema and watch like an original print of this in 3D. I think it would be great because some of the effects look pretty bad when you watch it in 2D. Like, you can actually still see like the rope or like the stick. Like, yeah, like you still see like I think you see a stick on the snake that comes out, and you see like you definitely see a stick on the eyeball when he pops the guy's head and his eyes comes out. And I also noticed this time as well, so when Chris stabs Jason in the leg with the knife, and then Jason pulls the knife out and he throws the knife and it hits the door frame, you can actually still see the string on the knife, which it just made me laugh out loud. And also, while I'm thinking about laughing, there's one part in this where I pissed my pants laughing, and you're not supposed to. It's when the stoner girl is finds Shelley, and then she goes to the cabin. She's just like, Shelley's dead. And she's just walking up the stairs. It's some of the worst acting in this whole series, and that is saying something. It's so bad that I just like couldn't stop laughing. I was like thinking, wow, that's the take you went with. There must have been a better one than that, surely. There must have been. But it's so bad. It made me laugh. It really did. And also, while I'm just on like the negative side of things for this movie, when they have that subplot with our main girl Chris about how she's met Jason before, and Jason chased her through the woods and all that, and we're not too sure what happened there because it leaves it quite open. There was no point to that. There was no reason to have that in the movie for me. It didn't do anything. It just leaves you with more questions than answers for me. That really didn't need to be there. And also, if you were going to do that, obviously this is Jason from before, so why didn't he look just more like Jason from part 2? Like, just have a sack over his head with them overalls on. Why have him dressed up when we know he's just got them clothes at the start of part 3, if this is supposed to be set in the past? It doesn't, it doesn't make any sense, but this series isn't supposed to make sense, I suppose. You know, maybe I'm just picking at it for the sake of picking, but, and also, I hate the ending of the zombie freaking Pamela Voorhees coming up off the lake, grabbing her, pulling her in. I know it's all a dream and all that, but they had an alternative ending which sounded a hell of a lot better. Hell of a lot better. You know, they should have gone with that one, in my opinion, to be fair. I think it was something like when she's in the boat and I think she sees a boyfriend who dies like through the window of the cabin. So as she's moving to go to the door of the cabin, and then she's seeing a boyfriend like follow her to the door, she opens the door, and then it turns out to be Jason, and then Jason like chops her head off with the machete. I would have liked to have seen that ending instead of the one that we got. I actually think that's a better ending, but I think apparently Jason's face was different in that because they had a different makeup artist for Jason at the time. So I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't go with that ending, because obviously when they shot that, he looked completely different to how he looks in the movie. I'm not too sure about that one, but overall, I do enjoy Part 3 in the series, but it is also one of the weakest. It is. Like I said, if I was to do a top 5 out of them, I would probably have it 5th. I would probably rate it higher than a lot of other fans would do. So, I do think this is worth your time. Watching in the series, I do. It's the first time Jason gets a hockey mask and we see Jason for like who we know he is, you know, and I think he's really cool in this movie, and there is a lot to like in this movie, but there's also a lot of downtime in this movie with like the 3D parts that don't, like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. So overall, guys, I would I would give Part 3, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. So, guys, if you enjoyed my review, please leave a comment below. What did you think of Part 3 of Friday the 13th? Let me know. It is always a pleasure hearing from you guys. And, as always, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.